So I'm gonna tell you the story why somebody that was born in Cuba came over to the United States, and I decided that I was gonna serve. And I was only 14 at the time, but I knew I wanted to serve in. Didn't have a specific branch that I wanted to serve in, but I knew I wanted to serve. So in Cuba, indoctrination starts from early age. They will teach you that the United States is the enemy, that one day they're gonna invade us and take away our freedoms. But even as a kid, I thought to myself, what freedoms are they gonna take? Because growing up, you always know that you can't say anything negative against the Cuban government, against any Cuban officials. You can't question anything outside of your house. So what freedoms are the United States gonna take? So it made me saw that supposed invasion to be more of a savior. So made me one day want to be that savior and come and rescue our people. Even as a kid, I had that kind of mentality. So my grandpa, he served in the Cuban army before Fidel. So he served in the Cuban army before the communists took over. He was a corporal, so he, went to prison for that. In the 80s, he was able to escape Cuba, being a political refugee, and went to Panama, and then came to the United States, came to Miami. In the late 90s, my dad came over, and then in 2010, me and my sister came over. With my dad. So obviously, I went to Miami. I went to high school. I was in 10th grade, and I wanted to do JROTC, so I didn't speak any English. I didn't know anything, so I had a great JROTC instructor. He passed away, Staff Sergeant Gonzalez. Uh, so how he used to do it, it was like I think it was me in his class that only spoke Spanish. He was Puerto Rican, so he used to teach his class in English, and then he would repeat back to me in Spanish, which I think it was awesome, especially in Miami. But I was in South Miami-Dade County, which they speak Spanish, but back in those days, not so much as maybe Hialeah or whatever. But that was awesome. So fast forward, I didn't really graduate from high school. I ended up dropping out of high school because I wasn't the greatest kid. I was a smart kid, so I could pass my test, no problem. I didn't have to study or anything. But I don't know, just bad influences, and sometimes I was the bad influence. But I didn't graduate high school, and those you need a GED or high school diploma to join the army or any armed forces. So obviously I had to work. I got a job as a security guard. Later I worked at McDonald's, Little Caesars, as a mechanic helper for trucks, like diesel trucks, whatever whatever I needed to be able to support my family that I started creating at the time with my wife. Started working construction. I fell in love with construction. It's hard work, but it also, I liked it. I liked the challenge. So a few years passed. I was already 21, 22 at the time, and I was doing construction still, but I was doing more plumbing. So doing services for somebody that has a pump in their house. This was Miami, the countryside of Miami. There's a small countryside in Miami, so I was doing well pumps and water pump fixing it. So I went to this guy's house. He looked young. He looked in his 40s. And we started talking. He looked fit and all that. We started talking for a little bit, and he told me that he had just retired from the Marine Corps after 20 years. He was a gunnery sergeant, retired. So man, this guy has a nice house. He has a nice big RV. That's my dream, by the way. One of those RVs, and he had a 2-story house, beautiful, huge, amazing house. Wow, it must have been great for this guy. He said, man, do it, serve. Have you ever thought about serving? I was like, yes, sir. I'm thinking either Army. At that point, I was Army or Marines. I was kind of brainwashed, but in a good sense. But some months passed by, and I went to a recruiting station. So for kind of a reference, I've been in the Army almost 7 years now, right? And I'm an Army recruiter. I'm a detail Army recruiter, so it's temporary. For 3 years, I got 2 years left. and I'm a whole E6 now. But I'm gonna tell you the first recruiting station I went to. So with that guy, a few months went by after I talked to this guy that had just retired from the Marine Corps. I talked to him, and then I went to with my wife. I went to the Marine Corps recruiting station. I think it was like 6 months later, right? Because life gets in the way and whatnot. Like I said, I was a smart kid. Like I always was a smart dude. Even English is not my first language, obviously. But math, that's my thing. Like math, yeah. So I went to a recruiting station, Marine Corps recruiting station. I said that walked in. It was the guy by himself. It was like kind of early, like 9, probably 10. I went with my wife and my daughter. She was like, I think like 2 at the time. I went inside, talked to him. He didn't ask me anything. He said, "All right, let me take you to take your practice test." And now that I'm a recruiter for the Army, right? So that he didn't even ask me anything and took me straight to a practice test. Sometimes we'll do that, but it's kind of rare. So you always gonna want to ask people those questions to see if they even qualify. But anyways, he didn't. So anyways, I went to this little testing room, right? There's like a scratch sheet of paper and a pencil. It's like, hey, here you go. Let me know once you're done. Went through the test, did my best, and when I came out, he went to check, and I got like a 55, right, on the practice test. He got pretty excited, as I would now as a recruiter. So we went up outside. He played me this video, like on a VCR. You gotta think this was like 10 years ago, not 10 years. Yeah, like eight years ago. So he played the video on a VCR, like Marine Corps, doing a beach landing operation. And this is all this. Hey, you see yourself doing this? It's like, hell yeah, man. Like, let's do it. And he started asking me questions. Hey, how old are you? Blah, blah, this and that. And until we got to this question. Then he asked me, are you single, married? What's your dependent status? And I was like, I have a wife and 2 kids. And that's when everything stopped. To this day, I don't know if this is kind of a mystery to me. To this day, like I don't know why, but after I said that, he said, "Hey, have you talked to the Army yet?" And that's it. That was the end. That was the end of my Marine Corps dreams. Like he said, "Yeah, go talk to the Army." If I tell you the truth, I didn't talk to the Army office right away. We got in the car and we left. Because at that moment, at that point in time, I wanted to join the Marine Corps. So I was already brainwashed by this guy. I was watching Jarhead, Generation Kill. So I was like, hey man, I'm gonna be a Marine. Like that's what I'm gonna do. But this guy just broke my dreams. He told me no. Like, hey, go talk to the Army. It's like they don't want you. Like they don't want me to join the Marine Corps. I'm not good enough. So what's the point? So a few months down the line, it was January 2nd. Like new year, new me. So I decided to, you know what, man, let's talk to the Army. So I went and called the Army, called the recruiting station. Staff Sergeant Mastrapa answered the phone. It's like, hey man, I kind of want to join the Army. I have a GED, this and that. Because after I dropped out of high school, I got my GED, right? So I got my GED, this and that. I have a wife, 2 kids. He said, hey, come on by. Can you come by today? It's like, hell yeah. So I went by, did the same thing, practice test. 2 weeks later, I was taking the ASVAB. I passed with a 52 on the ASVAB. And, a few months down the line, I was already in basic training for the Army. 6 years down the road from that, I'm a recruiter now. So for the Army, I got DX selected by the United States Army to be a recruiter. And it's rough sometimes, but I just want to be able to offer the same opportunity that somebody offered me that got me out of Miami in the first place, because Miami's expensive, and got me out of that cycle of just paycheck to paycheck. Now I'm a homeowner. I'm in college, which I never thought as a high school dropout. I just graduated. I just got a few months back, I got my associate's degree in construction engineering, working on my bachelor's, so hopefully get my master's degree one day. But hey, it's been a great story, man. So don't take it off for an answer. I should have probably went to a different Marine Corps recruiting station, but in South Miami there was only one, and that one told me no. It broke my heart, if I'm being honest. But that's it, man. At the end of the day, I'm still serving the country that I dream of serving. And 7 years in, it's been an amazing ride. And whatever God has for me next, it is what it is. Like always, man, go Army.